Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest episode of Technically Trek. Wow, I never tongue twisted that one before. We are in the new studios, which I have dubbed Dave's. God dang it, Daystrom Station. Well, take two. Welcome to Technically Trek. I am your host, Dave Prime. Over there is your host, Captain Katie, our ditzy witch. How are you doing, my dear?
Better than I was this time yesterday.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, I
still
had a
dealing with apologies in advance. I'm sucking down cough drops, trying to get this cough under control. It's not working. I need to see a doctor, but to do that requires money and I had to move. So I things are going to change in the background here and there, but for here and now I got at least some stuff in the background. So and it's going to be a hard 90 minutes tonight because I have places to go this evening. One of the stipulations of where I'm living at, I have to go to 5 meetings a week. So I already got three down. I went to a fourth last night, so tonight's meeting number five. So and that kind of leads into just a little thing is that as always, dangerous thoughts with Mickey Sun and Tyson. This show would not exist without them. They are on hiatus right now because the Casa Casa Cassie is relocating as well. So it just kind of worked out a little bit. So since I moved my show from Wednesday to Monday, they're moving their show from Sunday to Wednesday. So they'll be back next Wednesday on the 15th, same bat time, same bat channel, new location for them as well. So looking forward to that. Same big changes coming up along going there. But I think I like just blabbed enough and I just kind of cut you off to see how you were doing, other than you said you're better than yesterday. So I'm sorry.
yeah, I had a random bout of illness.
Mm.
Without going into it, but I was very, very ill during last night. And I didn't actually think I was going to make the show, in all honesty, but I had to. I'm still not 100%. I can't wear my glasses because my migraine is really bad. But that's why the light is a lot duller in here, because I'm very light sensitive. But
Well,
I am
actually,
okay, and
actually,
this is one of my favorite Enterprise episodes. Porthos is one of my favorite Star Trek characters, and I don't care what anybody says about that. He is a Star Trek character.
oh, totally, absolutely, and same, but saying someone else has been kind of busy, and I'm using my trackpad because I forgot my little receiver. That's the word I've been trying to look for. The receiver for my wireless mouse. It's still at the other house, so I'm trying to use the trackpad, and the trackpad doesn't want to be nice unless I really hit it hard. But Tyson is going to be able to be with us for a little bit because he's got a busy schedule as well. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. I was. It always tickles me. And I've forgotten to mention this. Every time I see Katie and it says just Ditzy Witch, and that's funny because I've always, when I'm talking about my sister, I always call her Bitchy Tits. Uh, that Bitchy Tits. Anyway, so I see Ditzy Witch and I think, oh my God, I please don't let me do one of those Freudian slips and call Katie Bitchy Tits because I'm used to saying my sister.
Tyson, my
Well,
darling, that would also be an accurate description of me. I can be very bitchy, and I do own a set of chesticles.
So
well,
I
and it's funny that you mentioned the fact that with Freudian slips because Archer had quite a few of those in this episode.
Arthur has
Yes,
a
he
lot of them
did.
in the whole series.
Yeah,
I absolutely loved those.
I'd say,
That's the only notes I've taken.
yeah, saying my notes is like, wow, Archer, breast, lips, lisp. Just like, dude, you're just like,
This is another reason why it's one of my favorite episodes, because it's so freaking funny.
mm,
As heart wrenching as this episode is, and I did cry, I really did. Even though I know all is okay, but I cry at this episode. I laugh at this episode. I mean, the cackle was much earlier, and as just nearly happened when you mentioned it, there was about two or three occasions where I nearly spat my drink across my room. But
I
yeah,
can I can tell you guys because just before the show we were talking backstage. So Katie, no snow here though. Where Dave is,
yeah,
lots of snow. The northern half of the country is being inundated with snow. I'm in the southern half of the country where As of Tuesday, we're expecting in Southern California extremely high winds, red flag warning, red flag for fire warning. And when the winds get up above 50 miles an hour, especially in the rural areas tend to get more of that wind because we're in the foothills right by the mountains, and that's when the wind comes up.
Are you hitting buttons, Katie?
Oh, for goodness sake.
Hey, Dave, I was in the middle of a sentence and you just cut me. Anyway,
I am so sorry.
Okay. So where I am, because we're rural, we don't have underground power lines. We still have the power poles, with the lines going across. And because we're in a windy area, we're right at the foothills where all the wind happens. And because it's red flag. So when you get those three, what they tend to do is called PSPS, or Public Safety Power Shutoff. You probably remember a couple of years ago, huge fire in Hawaii because power lines during the wind. In Northern California a couple of years ago, huge fire, like a quarter of the state was on fire. Again, windy conditions, power lines. So what they're doing now is anytime it gets really, really windy, they're turning off the power to prevent power lines from arcing and causing a fire. So what that means is I have to go get 3 5-gallon of gas or petrol to run my generator, so that during those power outages, I still have electricity and internet and communications and so forth. So that's what I have to do to make sure that I'm ready for Tuesday through Thursday. When if I do talk to you all, it'll probably be on generator power.
But yeah, like I was saying, with us
I
doing a
just
hard
like to
90 tonight, I just like saying hard 90. I don't know why, but but yeah, saying so I could have time to, like, if I need to take a piss, I take a piss and then head out the door. It's only like a 10-minute drive to get to the meeting where I'm going to check out. Even though it's like a young person's group, I just turned 49. I don't feel like a young person, but they don't discriminate on age regardless. So it'll be interesting to see what pans out with this one. So
Oh wow, Dave's gonna be being sober and picking up dates. That's what he's gonna do. He's cruising. He's cruising without the boozing. That's what's
exactly. Yeah, dating someone in the program, not always a good thing. You got to at least wait a year before you even think of dating anybody. But you never know.
Really?
Yeah. Well, that it's not like a set in stone rule, but yeah, it's always like, yeah, that first year's the hardest. They find someone that's also sober can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes it works. There's the lesbian couple that go to a lot of the same meetings I do. They've been together. It'll be 25 years this summer, so they're gonna have a big old party. But for the episode, a night in Sickbay is saying also the stupid cough. Say the music. I forgot. I didn't go to the credits to see who did the score. It definitely wasn't McCarthy, but I mean, it definitely had a lot of sadness to it because I mean, we almost lost poor Porthos, one of the best characters on the series.
Now, this is the episode where they put him in that water, that tank full of water. And he's floating
to put a chameleon pituitary gland to save his life.
Although I do like the little joke that Flox made.
Just like, yeah, you might have a hard time finding him.
Blend into the background. I absolutely loved that. But I mean, this episode is a very big emotional roller coaster. And I mean, I'm just going to get this out of the way. I don't care what anybody else's opinion is. You should all know me well enough by now. But the soundtrack is amazing. And even though it is so not in line with any other Star Trek series, it fits Enterprise because of where Enterprise starts and where it finishes. Just the opening line of that song. It's been a long road getting from there to here. That is the entire show. I don't care what anybody says or how many people do not like me for that. I think that they couldn't have picked a more perfect song.
I agree.
Russell Watson has a beautiful voice. I adore him.
A lot of people don't like the fact that this is the only Star Trek. Well, the original series technically has words, though they were never played. Gene Roddenberry wrote words for the song so that he could get partial credit for the song. It's a long story, but the point is that it's never been used in the opening. This is the only Star Trek that has a vocal opening along with the music. And I've always adored it. Some Star Trek fans hate it. I love that song. In fact, I have the full 3.5-minute song on my phone because the artist did a full version. So I've got the full version, which I love, and I play it a lot. It's a great song. It really is a great song. And by the way, the title credits where they're playing the song and you're seeing all the visuals that go with the song, again, couldn't be more perfect, right? I mean, you're seeing the evolution from the beginning of the space program with the Atlas rockets all the way to modernity for Star Trek, which would be the future. It was perfect. It was one I've always loved it.
I always get goosebumps when I hear the song, especially when you see the Phoenix. That for me, I mean, just going through everything, like the history, and then you see the Phoenix when it does its separation sequence. That, for me, is one of the most beautiful moments in Star Trek. That scene of the Phoenix. And it's also from my favorite Star Trek movie. But everything about the opening credits, the song, the image and video sequence, it's perfect for what the show is. And all of you people out there, I don't care where in the world you're from, but all you people out there, again, you're going to hate me for saying this, but you need to start looking at things a little bit deeper and not just looking at on the surface of things, because if you look deeper into why they've done the opening credits the way they have, why they've chosen the song, it all makes sense. And whether you like the song or not, like just as a song, everything fits perfectly.
I have to say Dr. Phlox is one of my favorite characters. Now, this is a Phlox-heavy episode, and an Archer, and, of course, a Porthos, which is one of the Three Musketeers. I forget the other two. Porthos.
T'Pol.
Huh?
T'Pol had a big part in it, too.
She did. I know. I'm trying to think now. My brain went off on a tangent. I'm trying to think of the Three Musketeers.
Porthos. Well, that's how Porthos got his name.
Yeah, he was one of the Three Musketeers.
Poor.
Somebody had to look that up, but yeah, I love
D'Artagnan.
D'Artagnan was the fourth. He wasn't one of the Three Musketeers. He, the whole story of the Three Musketeers is there's these original three, right? And then there's D'Artagnan, whose father was a musketeer and who wanted to become a musketeer himself, and sought to join the Three Musketeers. And every version from 1940s all the way, that's the way the story goes. D'Artagnan wants to join.
The names of the four musketeers. The names of the four musketeers are D'Artagnan, Porthos, Aramis, and Athos.
Athos, Aramis, and Porthos are the Three Musketeers. D'Artagnan was the fourth, so he's the one that comes in last. But so yeah, Porthos is one of the Three Musketeers, which I always thought was really great. And I love the actor who plays Dr. Phlox. He was in the original Stargate. He was. He's been in lots of other shows. He's got a new movie that's being filmed in New York right now. They were doing Kickstarters, and he was on last year. I got to join one of those. Like this, it was a live stream, and I got to see him. Can't think of the actor's name off the top of my.
Yeah, I have a major brain fart too. So, Paul Billingsley.
Billingsley, that's it. Love him.
Yeah, and it's just funny that you mentioned Stargate, the episode that he was in, his character, Coombs, was it?
Yeah.
Well, he was in the movie
He
Stargate. He was
no,
in
he
the
was in,
original.
he was
Yes.
because he was in the series SG-1 series as well in a couple episodes. Then
Hold on, I'm going to IMDb this.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he was in the movie Stargate, but
no,
you
he
know,
was definitely in the show.
I thought Tuvok was in Star Trek 6 and he was in Star Trek 7, so you know, don't trust my brain.
No, but
All right. Carry on.
I could have swore he was in the movie. Oh, shut up. My
well,
radio.
two things. One, apologies for the cough. I'm still dealing with it. Hopefully, I can get that figured out one of these days. Two, I'm wearing my jacket because there is some minor heat issues in the apartment right now. So I got a space heater going. So at least I got.
Are they going to fix it?
Oh yes,
Okay.
but it wasn't noticed that it was not working at all until I started moving in on Saturday. So, and yeah,
Do
we're
you have an
supposed to be.
ETA on fixing it? Because that's supposed to, everything is supposed to work before you move in.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but like I haven't had a chance to talk with the house manager yet because we're the only location in Colorado. It's called Phoenix because they're based in Phoenix. So they got like 4 or 5. Dang nabbit. They got 4 or 5 sober living homes down in the Phoenix area. So
Now, this is a regular apartment complex, right? Not a sober living.
it's more no, it is a sober living facility, but
Oh,
it's
it is?
it's a small apartment building that's all sober housing.
So everybody who lives there is part of a sober living program.
Yes.
Okay.
I see. Yeah, and the manager's just across the hall from me. He's just got a couple more months of sobriety than I do. He started, or actually maybe a lot longer, but he started managing this place in November. So, but it's a cute little place. It's quiet, pretty quiet neighborhood. I kind of
So
accidentally
no keggers going on.
no. That would get your ass kicked out in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a pretty strict rules and regulations is saying like unless I'm just like they'll just poking their head in the bedroom. No one else can be in the bedroom other than the residents. Um, I forget one of the other things that they
You
mentioned.
mean you can't bring home a trick?
Nope.
Oh man.
Yeah.
And there's actually a camera in the living room too, so they're watching.
There's a camera in the living room?
Talk
What
about
happens
Big
if-
Brother
Oh,
watching you.
hell no. I'd be walking around naked, spanking a monkey for the camera.
Well, there's none in the bedroom that I'm aware of, but there's just one that's in the living room. So
I would have a laugh if I lived there or even visited you. You know, I mean, if I lived there,
Now,
they would get me on camera dancing around and singing very badly to Click Tight all the time.
then you'd be bitchy tits. Woo. Now I wonder if now you said you can't have anybody in the bedroom. Can you have guests over in the living room where the
Yes.
camera is? Okay.
Yes. Yeah, I can have guests out there, but not in here.
So guests are welcome. Now, if you were to ever have an overnight guest and they slept out in the living room in front of the camera, would that be okay?
I've never asked that question, so but I don't know. No, and I might say
highly
Peter
unlikely
Billingsley.
that
It's John Billingsley.
Yeah,
But,
John
John
Billingsley,
Billingsley.
Yeah, because it's a full size bed, so it's like not exactly like comfy for two, but
Yeah.
Then see, this back here's a work in progress. Saying I got still got
I'm
to
not
get
going to
some
lie.
things.
I made out in a tree once, so I'm not, a full size bed is nothing.
Oh no, I could never sleep in a single.
But I haven't bunked my head on the bunk yet. But I am going to invest in some pool noodles and cut them up so I can I like a protective bar there in case I do bunk in the middle of the night.
Well, we downsized from a king to a queen size bed. But I would really rather. I mean, this room is too small. But when I get my own place, I want to go back up to a king size, and we can put the queen in a spare room or something. But I want a king size bed. Like I like to flop around.
See, flop. But go back to the episode. Talk about flopping around. Poor Archer is saying he's trying to be close to his dog. Well, to Porthos to just make him feel comfortable. He say he's doing it for Porthos, but he's doing it for himself. But
well, he
they
spends the
Phlox is
night in
doing
Sickbay, or he's
Yes.
supposed to, right?
yeah. But he starts doing other things because Phlox's routine is like interrupting
Clipping his
sleep.
nails and all.
Yeah, scraping his tongue, trying to catch a bat, which that was hilarious.
I was laughing
I mean,
so much at that scene.
There's
really
two
was.
episodes where the bat gets lost. This is one of them, but I think there's another one where the bat gets loose.
Yeah, but it's Hoshi walks in and just boop, like, hi there, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, but no, I love what you were saying about Archer going to Sickbay for his benefit rather than for Porthos. You know, that speaks close to my heart because I would do exactly the same. And I know it's very different, but the times like when we neutered our animals and they were like really out of it and they were recovering from their operations, whether it was my dogs or my cats, I always stayed with them. You know, although one of my cats was a little shit. My ginger one, you know, the ginger ones are always the devils. Same with people. But it wasn't. It was said that it wasn't allowed to even jump up on the bed because it could tear his stitches. Luckily, at the time, I didn't like sleeping in a bed, so I had a futon, so that was fine. But it woke me up in the middle of the night, and he was on top of my wardrobe. And I'm just like, you little shit. But no, it's nice to see. I mean, although we saw it with Data and Spot, you know, the relationship that Archer has with Porthos is a beautiful thing to see. And it's one of the things what made me fall in love with Enterprise. I mean, aside from Trip, because, you know, Trip is just absolutely amazing. And Hoshi is hot as hell. And she is so sweet. But Porthos is like the heart of the show, in my opinion. You know, it adds that little bit of softness to the situation. Even when there's so much going on. And it's nice to see that because, all right, Picard's got his cat food swimming in the water behind his desk, but
his cat food.
Yeah. But, you know, and Data's got Spot, but Spot is really the only animal that we see in Star Trek. So it's really nice to have Porthos, and he is so cheeky. And, you know, he is a kindred spirit because Porthos is exactly the same as me. Cheese is life, you know. And
what was one of the first thing that Captain Jellicoe said when he got the Enterprise? Get
rid of the fish.
Get rid of the fish.
Yeah. I was about to say, we've had Livingston, but never. The only interaction I think we've had of Livingston the entire 7 seasons is in Genesis when devolved Rikers tried to figure out how to get into the fish tank.
Oh, Christopher Lloyd, Captain Krug. Yeah.
No. Well, the Targ, yeah. But like with this TV series, then that was it. And then of course, the Chihuahua, the Klingon Chihuahua in the series finale of Lower Decks.
Spock from TOS. Spock
Sea-Lot.
had a pet Sea-Lot. Does anybody remember his name?
I remember Sea-Lot. That's it.
His
Been a
name
hot
was
mix.
Ichaya.
Mm.
And I know that because we had a dog named after his pet Sea-Lot, Ichaya. So Ichia, Ichaya was Spock's pet's name.
Yeah. For the long my cousin, she had 2 cats for the longest time, named them Darmok and Jalad.
Tarmac and July.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
One of
they
my
The walls
cats.
fell. Anyway,
Well, two of my cats actually. One when I was very younger was called Tasha, but that was before I knew of Next Gen. But then later on in life, I got this pure black cat. She was the only female that I had, and I had to call her Tasha because I mean I love Tasha, yeah. But I told my partner at the time why I was calling her Tasha, and my partner just turned around and said, "You are not telling people that's why you've named her Tasha." And I'm like, "Why?" And she goes, "Because that's just sad." And I'm like, "No, it isn't. You know, I've named her in honor of Tasha Yar, you know, and so many people do it. I mean, there's people out there that name their children after Star Trek characters.
yeah, I wouldn't name a child after at least a primary Star Trek character. Maybe one that most people don't know.
That's
Like
true.
again, Ichaya isn't something that most people know. You know, if you name somebody Ichaya, no, general populace isn't going to make the connection, right? But if you name your
There's
kids,
actually somebody who's called.
but if you name your kid
somebody
Spock,
named their child Seven after 7 of 9.
well, if you name your kid Kirk or Spock or something stupid, they're going to get their ass kicked their whole life. Like, why would you do that to a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Like a pet, fine, not a child.
I have a reporter friend back in Seattle. She and her partner named their firstborn Julian Riker.
That's
First name, middle
obscure
name.
enough. You know, well, I mean, let's say that
Well,
you like.
he does look like a Julian. The name definitely fits him. He's like 10
Let's say
now, I
that
want to
you
say.
named your kid James because you love James T. Kirk. Well, James is a regular name. That's fine. You know.
Yeah.
There's some other examples. Anyway, it is after 5:30. I do have to drop. It's already getting dark here, and I've got to get my stuff together so that when the power outages start to hit tomorrow, I'm ready to go. Have a good day. Live long and prosper. We'll see you next time.
See you next week. All right, yeah, I got a message from Phil. He's got a lot of shit going on tonight too. So
Yeah,
he said he'll try to pop in towards the end of the episode. So I gave him the heads up that we got less than an hour before we got to pull the plug. So, but it's darn it. Is Zach totally in the background?
Well, he's not muted.
Yeah, but his silence kind of leads towards yes.
Zach, can you hear me? Sorry for my really bad.
Yes.
Hey.
Okay.
I called
Howdy,
for Kate.
Pilgrim. Howdy.
Yeah, but yeah, just the reaction to when we the audience find out that the Kreetassans are pissed off because Porthos hissed on one of their special trees.
But I was all with Archer's argument about it. They sent information on Porthos. They sent his biological profile. If they, they should have said no, leave him on the ship. And Archer was completely correct. Porthos deserves fresh air. And okay, fair enough. It was a sacred tree. Did they mention it was a sacred tree and that they shouldn't touch them or defile them in any way? Probably not, because they don't give that information out, because they expect people to know. Like the incident with the oh, you should have changed your clocks 2 hours. It's like, fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they're demanding respect from other people. Fair enough, it's their planet, but you've got to give respect to gain respect. It's got to be a mutual thing. you know, and they are so uptight people. They demand respect and understanding from everybody else, and yet they don't seem to want to give it in return. And to me, that is completely out of order. It really is. I mean, all right, I know that they had to jump through hoops to be able to get the plasma injector. I know that.
Yeah.
But, you know, once I had the plasma injector, I'd really give them what for. I'd be a
Yeah.
terrible captain. I mean, I know that it says there like Captain Katie, but you know, I really would be a terrible captain because, you know, I would have the impulse control of Care. I'd have the attitude of Janeway. And, you know,
And the pizzazz of Cisco.
Oh no, I'd have the
I've never thought of Cisco having pizzazz, but
no, I would have like the pizzazz and the sass of Q. I just would not give a crap. You know,
Amen.
and I think this is one of the reasons I love Q so much. But I mean, Phlox as well. He speaks his mind. He does it in a much nicer way than me, but unfortunately, I can't be anybody else. You know, apart from myself. But he speaks.
They're very
his mind.
nuanced. Yeah.
Pardon?
They're very nuanced. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I love Phlox as a doctor, because he is straight to the point. A lot of doctors aren't, and that's why I like Phlox and the Doctor from Voyager. I prefer their bedside manners to like Julian's, for example, because Julian, he is so nice and sweet. Don't get me wrong. He is like on the ball with everything. He is perfection when it comes to his craft, you know, but he's not as forthright and he sugarcoats a lot of things, whereas the Doctor and Phlox, they don't. Phlox a little bit more than the Doctor from Voyager, but Phlox only likes to give the information when it comes. He doesn't like to predict. He doesn't like to give false hope. And I love that about him. And he didn't do that in this episode either. He didn't give false hope. He didn't allow Archer to believe anything. He was just like, wait and see. That is all he could do.
He was gentle yet firm at the same time.
Yeah, and that is a really good mix. And I mean, everybody should know by now. Like, I know you lot do, but our viewers should know as well. I value honesty.
It's the best policy.
Anything, you know, and that is one thing that I love about Phlox, especially in this episode. Yes, he did keep a few things back at first, but that's because he doesn't like to make assumptions or predict, like I said. But he was very honest with Archer about the whole situation. And he wasn't nasty doing it neither. He was, even though he seemed to lack compassion about the relationship between a human and their quadruped, you know, as he called for.
They're just like quadruped. It's just.
But you know, even though he seems to lack an understanding, I don't think it was a lack of compassion. I think it was just a lack of understanding, like a cultural barrier. But by the end of it, he seemed to have a lot more understanding of the attachment. And that's another thing I love about Phlox as well. He is very open-minded. And even if he doesn't agree with you, he is still very respectful and honest. But he did seem to gain much more of an understanding about the relationship between Porthos and Archer by the end of this episode, and it shows in the remainder of the series as well.
I got a question on that.
Pardon?
Thanks, Jeff.
I got a question. Could this be the episode that killed the series?
No.
No,
Okay.
the episode that killed the series was the series finale.
Well,
Well,
the series finale was shot after they knew they were canceled early on in the 4th season, but they still did the season. So, you know what? I got to remember to download that because I did get permission from Julian at Strange New Pod to play that snippet from the mailbag, where I made the comment that McMahon did what Berman failed with the series finale of Enterprise with his Valentine. I mean, even like Blaylock and Bakula and Trenier, everybody was. I mean, Blaylock I think was the first, and then everyone else started following suit, just lambasting how they ended the series, how they killed Trip. This sucks. We hate it.
Yeah.
But like I said, I got everyone splitting their sides laughing at when
That's
I
the only
just
thing I
say
don't like about Star Trek is that they tend to kill off my favorite characters. They killed off Jadzia, they killed off Trip. I mean, if they'd have killed off Porthos, I would have, I really would have made voodoo dolls of all the freaking writers, but no, the Star Trek do tend to kill off my favorite characters, and that's probably the only thing I don't like about it, in all honesty. I'm just really glad that they didn't kill off Porthos because I probably would have never watched Star Trek again if they'd have done that. I would have gone on strike. I really would have done. I'd have started a union.
Until Strange New Worlds.
Yeah. I'm glad you're able to at least listen in on the conversation, Phil. So glad to have you a part of the show tonight. There's at least you and a dozen others. So thank you all. Always be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We are now, even though it says Wednesday on the bottom of the screen there, say I need to get that changed. We are now on Monday night, same time, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 Eastern. And because of that, as I mentioned a little earlier on, Mickey's son, Manu and Tyson, they're moving their show to Wednesday starting next week. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I'm in the dark of what they got planned. They're doing some big changes. I know a few things, not a lot of things. So it's going to be a busy week.
You're not in the household, Dave. You can't tell us the secrets. You're not in the household anymore,
Not
so you
anymore,
can't tell the secrets anymore.
Yeah, so when I partake back, what's that?
Oh, I said, please tell me that you left a wiretap in the house before you left.
Oh, see, they're all moving. They're moving as well, so that we're vacating
Are
the
they
entire
really?
house. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're in the process of moving into their own apartment now.
Yeah, and I just got a notification that Brett left the house, taking another load to the apartment. So they're downside. I upscaled essentially.
Are they all downscaled?
Well, they had no choice.
Yeah.
But like I said, props to my AA family for, as one in particular who lives downstairs told me there was an opening here and I got in. So, and I got funding for the first month, so I don't have to pay rent until next month. So nonprofits helped me out with that. So everything just fell into the right place at the right time.
It was the same when I got this apartment. Well, when me and my mum got this apartment, we really needed to move. For many reasons, but one of them was I was having a lot of falls. And with my bedroom being on like the 3rd story, it wasn't very good because I had a lot of stairs to navigate, but we were the only people to view this property, and we got it straight away, and it's like ground floor, all on one level. It's absolutely amazing. And I always say that things will happen how they're supposed to and when they're supposed to. So the fact that you all needed to move like really, really like now sort of thing, and you all got a place, it was time.
See, I'm just looking up something right now.
I wonder how that'd
But
work on a starship.
what's that?
I wonder how that'd work on a starship. If you needed to move quarters for any reason, I wonder how that'd work. Because they only have a certain amount of quarters, but I mean, especially if you're sharing
Airlock.
with someone.
That's where they shoot somebody off through the airlock that they didn't like.
I'd say definitely make use of
Why did nobody
transport.
do that
Just
with
put all your
Harry?
stuff in a corner. They just beam it out, beam into new cores. Bam, done.
Oh no, I prefer the airlock just because that would be more funnier. And
Oh
mean.
yeah, I mean, why did nobody ever do that with Harry Kim?
Because
Well,
he
well-
was the show, Katie. He was the show. Harry Kim made Voyager.
But no, if I'd have been on Voyager with Harry Kim, he'd have like accidentally fallen out of an airlock.
On the set too. So this would be a real life accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but technically Harry did get blown out in an airlock, so
I know. I loved that. I loved that. I really did. It was so cathartic. They should have kept him killed off. Sorry. I digress.
Unalived.
I just want to
This
double.
is YouTube. We gotta be PG.
Oh yes, I would have loved to have very much unalived Harry Kim in the most unhappy way.
Yeah. So I was just trying to check on the IMDb.
No, that just doesn't sound right, Zach.
What
That
is
just doesn't sound. I mean, the unalived part, then yes, but you know, I can't make any of the rest of how I would like to have unalived him sound nice and PG.
Blame YouTube.
Yeah, but
Just blame
I don't blame YouTube. I blame people.
Oh. Why do you blame people?
Because people created YouTube. People created the YouTube rules. People have become snowflakes. I mean, honestly, people who grew up on freaking South Park are complete and utter snowflakes nowadays. I mean, there's more fortitude in an actual snowflake than there is in snowflakey people.
Oh, hold on. It's a lot of snowflakes. All on the ground.
Whoa. See what? Why did my? I was just looking up something on IMDb, and then all of a sudden look up and my camera whitewashed. But no, I was looking to see if Patrick McKenna, who played Felger on the other guys on SG-1, that was arguing with Billingsley about Star Trek and the altar of Roddenberry, and just like, yeah, see, because Jeff brought it up. I was starting to bring it up, but the fact that they were arguing about a sci-fi. It's interesting that Star Trek exists in the Stargate universe.
That is interesting.
Yeah, you see, I love that. I mean, although Tyson was wrong, John Billingsley was only in one episode of SG-1. He was not in the movie.
Yeah, because I figured, because then I'm wondering if no, he wasn't on there either. So he just got a little confused, which is understandable, but it's okay. It's all good.
Yeah, I mean, I love John Billingsley, and he really did this his character in Enterprise justice. I mean, he is a phenomenal actor, and he is a lovely human being.
Yeah, and Billingsley played a recurring
probably
role
check
for.
on. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I say Billingsley also played in another one of the TV shows I really enjoyed in the early 2000s, 24, when he was on a couple of the early episodes where he was kidnapped by terrorists to devise a dirty nuke that was blown up in Los Angeles.
It was also in an episode
Probably
of
for the better.
and NCIS as well, and I really loved him in those roles. This is what I mean. He's a brilliant actor, and he really does embody his actor, his character. You know, it. Sometimes when even watching Star Trek, regardless of like what you're watching, sometimes it's plain to see that someone is just playing a role, but then you get a group of people together who really do get along on set. And even if there's tension between any of them, it can actually work. And when they put their whole selves into it, you can't tell that they're just acting.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of times when I've watched things and I'm just like, you can so tell that you're acting. It doesn't reach the eyes. And the first ever time that I saw an actor fully embody their character was Patrick Stewart as Jean-Luc Picard. You know, even the look in his eyes, he really did get into character. And I mean, they say it's something that's taught, but it isn't, because you can't teach somebody to have a look in their eye, you know. But like with Phlox, I mean, even though he's in makeup and stuff, you can see the emotion in his eyes. He like John Billingsley really does get into character, and he like this episode is a very emotional episode, and it's very believable, like on all sides, and I love that.
Yeah, but I was noticing I got a text from Travis saying that he popped in. Things were going so fast, I didn't see him pop in, but that's what's going on outside his house this morning in West Virginia. So yeah, he's dealing with the same weather system you're dealing with, Zach. And like I said, we're getting maybe a different one here in the Springs tonight, because they're expecting, want to say 3 to 6 inches here in the Springs, depending on where you're at overnight into tomorrow.
I thought Colorado Springs was in the desert.
Well, it's a high desert, but high desert, but
Colorado
we
Springs
still
is in
get
the freaking mountains.
we're 1,000 feet higher than Denver.
That's weird.
Yeah.
The house
That
that
is weird.
Dave and Cassie and Kurt have just moved from was it 6,300 feet above sea level or 6,700 feet?
63 sounds about right. See,
Yeah,
let me take a look where we're at, where I'm at now.
That's very high. I mean, the highest altitude I've been to is about 13,500 feet.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm at 5,900 feet, right where I'm at right now.
Yeah,
Nice.
this is why I need to, like, when I come over to America, I need to land on the East Coast and like
And just kind of make a way.
Elevate.
Yeah, but you got the Appalachians, so
Well, not that far south, but
yeah.
unless you go north and east, west. Yeah, north and east, you'll be in the Atlantic. You don't want to go back home just that quickly.
I mean, you could.
If she could swim, tread water.
Oh, I'm a good swimmer. I can even swim like a freaking mermaid.
See, what you're saying is you could fly to America and then swim from the East Coast back to England with a stop off at Bermuda for a rest. That's like the halfway point.
I just head straight to the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh, well, that's
I'd love to go there.
Double check to see what actually happens in the Bermuda Triangle.
Oh yeah,
hey, that wow, that is downright chilly for Florida, Jeff. Dang,
Jesus,
that is freaking.
How do you get
frigid?
I take it that's 25 Fahrenheit, Jeff.
Yes. Yeah, which is, well, I don't have my outdoor thermometer still at the house, so I don't know what it's like outside right now, but I can look at my phone. It's just barely below freezing right now.
Well, it's like 1 degree Celsius here, which is about 32 No, about 34 Fahrenheit, something like that.
Yeah, so yeah, we're -1 C right now outside, thereabouts. But thank you for the door suggestion, Katie, because it's now 67 in my room. So
Yeah.
It's 26 degrees here.
oh
Oh.
dang.
It feels like 17.
Oh, I'm so jealous. I'm sorry, people, but I don't do hot weather. The colder, the better for me. I would rather put clothes on than have to take them off. Because you can put so many layers on, but there's only so many layers you can take off, especially for a woman.
Hey, I was shoveling earlier today, and I took all my layers off. I was wearing just this outside, just shoveling. That's how much I was sweating. That's how much snow I was
Oh,
shoveling.
dang. But talk
Which is
about
like the
taking
first
clothes off.
time.
Taking clothes off. Back to the episode, that dream sequence that Archer was having.
Oh, Jesus.
Starting off with the funeral of Porthos, then all of a sudden they're in the
Mhm.
decon chamber, and just Phlox is like, "Up, Porthos, you're fine. Hoshi, you're fine. You can get out." And say Archer and T'Pol have to stay in a little longer.
See, everybody was so into the Archer to Paul relationship, and that's why it came as such a big shock when Aaron and Trip got together. And I think I was the only one that foresaw it. And I actually remember when you gave me the homework to watch Enterprise, the first couple of episodes I watched, I actually said to you, please tell me that Trip and T'Pol get together. And you just kept your trap shut. But I knew by the look in your eyes that I was correct. And I knew it from the off. I knew that they were going down that route. Even if they didn't realize it at the time, I knew that they were going to get together. And I was so happy because they are such opposites. They really are, but they complement each other so much. And when all this with Archer and T'Pol started coming up, I'm just like, oh hell no, this is not happening, And I actually remember kicking off about it on one of the Twitter spaces that we had, and I was just like, this is not happening. It can't happen. But I just loved how Phlox just randomly turned around and said, "When's the last time you was intimate with a woman?"
When was the last time you had been intimate with a woman? And Archer's like, "What?"
Yeah, and I was just
and Archer's like, no, I'm out of here. I'm done. No, this conversation is.
Yeah, that was like really random, but I kind of like the look in Phlox's eyes before he asked. I'm like, this.
He was just, he was so matter of fact. It's like, when did you boink a woman last, Captain? And he's like, what?
Well, yeah, but you see, this is why I love Phlox, because he doesn't. He's a lot like me in a way. He just randomly comes out with stuff, but it's so relevant,
I have those moments too that shock some people. If it, what the fuck did you just say, Dave?
Yeah, and I mean, you lot are all used to me just coming out with random crap now, but it can be a lot for people to get used to, but I think this is why I fell in love with Phlox so much, because he does come out with random things. And he is not afraid to speak his mind. And the way he was in this episode, how he was so matter of fact on everything. And even when they were chasing after that bat, he just carried on the conversation. And then I'm just like randomly, and I'm just like, I love you so much. We could be like best friends.
Yeah, so Phlox was definitely the star of this episode, in my opinion.
No,
I disagree. I think Phlox is the star of the whole series.
No, what were you doing?
Yeah, I agree with that, Zach. He is like one of the star characters throughout the series, in my opinion. But I'm sorry, this episode goes to Porthos. I value animals more than humans, unfortunately. Well, I say unfortunately. I mean, obviously, present company accepted, of course, but yeah, I'm I'm a very big animal lover, and I have a lot more respect for animals than I do humans.
Well, interesting side note because I wrote a note because I read it on IMDb that like at the end of the episode when Archer opened up the baby decon chamber and Porthos just leapt into his arms and started licking him all over the face. Yeah, Bakula had food on his face to kind of like get the stunt dog to do that. I thought that was kind of clever.
Yeah, yeah, I've read a lot about like animal actors and things, and I don't think I would ever be able to work with animals on a set because you're not allowed to get too close to them.
Mm.
And I would find that really difficult because I understand that they have a job to do, they're there to work, but to show them no true affection other than in the acting role and pamper them and pet them and snuggle them, I would break that rule in an instant. I mean,
in acting, you want to show the realest possible idea surrounding that compassion. So I don't understand why they wouldn't want you to get close, but at the same time,
it takes
I
away
do.
from the animals' training, and because the animals are trained, it's like if you have a dog and you train it to sit, to stay. I mean, when I was training my German Shepherds, when it comes to their training, you've got to be quite strict, and yes, still show them affection within the commands, but you've still got to be firm and show them who's boss, basically. And if you confuse that training with loads of love and snuggles and the baby talk and all that lot, it does confuse them. And it can be very difficult. I mean, I found it very difficult training my dogs, but I persevered with it, especially with them suffering from nervous aggression as well, which is a long story. But me and my mum, we stuck to the training. And don't get me wrong, outside of the training, they were pampered pups. They really were. They were babies. They were like huge German Shepherds that got on your lap like a chihuahua. That they were babies. That they slept in our beds. They were pampered. They wanted for nothing. But when it came to training, we were strict with it, and they knew who was boss. And so on a set with animal actors like Porthos, there's got to be that fine line there. And they have to associate those that they interact with on set as a job, as part of their training. And that's why the actors can't get too familiar with the animal. Yes, familiarity on a professional sense to get that trust there, but that's it. And I wouldn't be able to do that, especially with someone as cute as Porthos, because he is a darling. He really is.
Yeah.
And the cheese thing, I'm sorry, but the fact that he didn't have even one slice of cheese in this episode, it broke my heart. But I completely understood why he wasn't allowed any. Because another reason why I love Porthos, he's a kindred spirit. Cheese is life.
It is. But what one thing just what's wrong, Katie?
I'm okay. Just carry on. Random nosebleed.
Oh dear.
And
I was just gonna say, like at the end of the episode, well, several parts of the episode. I mean, it's 2002, 2003 when this came out.
Yeah.
It's like really early in like the advent of CGI in major television productions, movie productions, and things. They did a really good job with Enterprise with this, with like when Phlox was scraping his tongue and saying, and that big creepy ass grin of his at the end of the episode, just like it. I just like ugh, just a little. and
Who's creepy
and
ass grin?
Floxes.
Flux.
That big.
Fluxes.
Oh, I love his grin.
I do, but
I think
it's
it's
creepy.
good.
I wrote creepy slash funny on my notes.
Oh, I love
It is
Flox.
pretty
No,
funny.
Yeah,
I
just
love
like
his grin.
optimism, Captain Optimism, and then
And then he gives a little smirk that's like kind of evil.
like Joker level, kind of like. "Bleh."
I think that's why I love it so much. I love evil.
but
I seem to, you know, like navigate more towards the dark side than the light side. But it's all in good fun, you know, and I love all the little quirks
I like,
with books.
you know, I like Palpatine too. He was pretty cool. Star
Yeah,
Wars joke.
yeah. But the one thing also I want to take back on this episode, I think this is like the first time that we really got to learn a little about the Denobulan culture and the polygamy
Hmm.
that their species partakes in, and say that Archer, I think, probably learned a lot too with this. I think it's the most screen time the two actors ever had up to this point in the series. So
I
Yeah,
believe so.
I
Yeah.
like the Denobulan relationship thing. It you know it's and it's so pure as well. It really is, and there's no jealousy. There's, you know, it's just it's so chill, and
Mhm.
I
Are they
love
Mormon?
that.
maybe that's where they kind of got the idea.
I think that's where they got it from. Was the Mormon idea
Yeah,
around
so
polygamy,
he's got like 5 kids with 3 women,
and they all know their place, and they all pretty much get along
and
for the most part, just like Mormonism.
But that's why I
Or
love it, because you know that they do all get along, and you know that it's just so chill and it's just so sweet, and you know the conversation that they had in Sickbay.
yeah, I mean,
You
and
know,
he's just like, this is the way it is. Everything's cool. Everything's great. Everything's fine. I say though, I mean, he did kind of like you could feel his disappointment that like 2 of his
Mhm.
children that they don't see eye to eye. They haven't talked in a while, and really kind of made me think about how bad I've been about calling my parents on a regular basis and just checking in and whatnot. Say I've going down my sober journey, I've done better with that. I called it Thanksgiving. I called it Christmas. I called my mom this past Tuesday to let her know that I'm working on getting my own place for the first time in 22 years. Like, granted, this is short lived. I get to live on my own for now. There's another bed at the other side of the room, which, like Katie alluded to earlier, wanted me to switch them around and stuff. I mean, that other bed, that other bed is huge. It is big. And I don't think I would be able to move that, but I am honestly happy with a bunk bed. I grew up sleeping in a bunk bed on the lower bunk, so it kind of brings me a little bit back to the younger
Childhood.
years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a
Awesome.
little either that I've gotten bigger or it's a little lower than what the bunk that I've slept in because it was homemade. Just a
Mhm.
bunch of 2x4s and 2x6s.
Creative.
Yeah.
Wait, they built it into the. Did they build it into the wall?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
It's like a I I want to say well, it might be IKEA. I don't know. It's got a bunch of
Oh, it's a.
hex. Who knows?
Mhm.
But the other bed definitely looks IKEA. But
at
but
least you didn't have
I
to
kind
put it together yourself.
that what
At least you didn't have to put an IKEA bed together yourself.
I've put other IKEA furniture together myself, and that often drove me to a drink. Darn it.
Yeah, I've moved house that many times and bought new furniture, like flat pack furniture, so much. You know, it's like second nature to me to build. I mean, my wardrobe, it's a massive 4-door solid wood wardrobe. And you know, even though I get very, very frustrated and very snippy when I'm building things, but there was only like one little setback, and I used the wrong screws. That they were too long, so there's like little holes in the side of it now, but you can't see it. But yeah.
Yeah, for me, good news is the closest IKEA is over an hour away, so I won't be driving up there very often to buy furniture or stuff like that. Because places I've had before, I've had a lot of IKEA furniture in my life. It's typically those cube ones that like the
They
two
don't
by two
last.
and the two. Mine did.
Oh,
Yeah, saying
you are one of the few. So
I completely missed that. I'm so sorry. I like proper zoned out.
we were just talking about those
I-
those cube IKEA things, shelving things,
mhm.
just little squares that you can
Oh
put
yeah, my
little.
mum's got
Yeah.
some in for craft stuff. Well, not from IKEA, but some of the same. And Sammy's
Yeah.
actually got quite a few. For
Yeah, I think I've
storage
seen.
as well.
I think I've seen some on their Facebook photos
Yeah.
that they. But yeah,
I
I've
might
had.
just build. I just might build a walnut shelving unit that fits the entirety of a bedroom wall.
Shit.
That way,
Yeah.
no issues. It ain't falling.
Yeah. See,
It's too tough.
I tried to move that
Oh,
today.
I
Kind of
like that.
move it a little. Yeah. See, but the top is actually slanted, which I found a little weird.
Mm.
So I can't really put anything up there without risk of it over.
Mm-hmm.
But no, if I might get again like one of those 2x2 little whatchamacallits from IKEA. I forget. I want to think it's Calyx. Let me.
Well, we've actually got loads of those cube units, like dotted around the flat. I mean, I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 4 of them in my room. 2 4-tier ones. You can't actually see it on camera at the minute because of how we've got it set up. But the one next to my bed, that's a 4-tier one, and then opposite, I've got 2 3-tier ones, and we actually use them as bookcases. And like my mum uses them for all her craft stuff, because you know there's a hell of a lot of that. But yeah, they come in really handy, especially when you know you can get them like 2, 3, 4, and 5 tier, and then you can get the actual cubes.
Yeah, and I was right. It is called the Calyx. So. So I might get one of those down the road eventually. See,
Well, like,
another note.
subscribe, ring that bell, everybody. Let's beat the algorithm. We're technically correct. So go ahead, like, subscribe, ring the bell, and join the conversation, everyone.
I appreciate that,
Back to you,
Zach.
Dave.
Yes, please come and join us, people. With you know, I mean, what's the fun in having controversial opinions about things when you can't discuss them with people?
Exactly.
I mean, you know, I would love for some viewers to come on here and discuss the opening credits to Enterprise with me. I really would.
Yeah, trying to look at some of my notes because
Why,
we got about.
why the best doctor is Dr. Bones McCoy. Because he's just straightforward and kind of an asshole. And I like it.
And he liked to drink, even though it's like
He
but
did like to drink.
unlike me, he knew how to handle it like a gentle person. He knew his limits. Me, it says like one shot turned into 2, turned into 5, turned into half a bottle to a full bottle or more. See,
Hey,
I'd buy a fifth. It would last no more than 3 days.
I have a
How
feeling
big's
that's
that?
probably McCoy.
750 milliliters.
Yeah. So
I drink more than that on a night out.
about
That's a
that.
lot, my dear.
Like when I go on a night out, like I mean, it's not often I go on nights out anymore, but like when I go to my 3-day conventions, there's a party every night. I go to them, and you know, guaranteed at those parties, I'll drink like usually I'll have like several pints of like Stella, and then I'll move on to liquor, and I would go through
beer before liquor, never sicker.
I mean, like the 750 ml,
I disagree.
I would probably go through in a night, as well as like maybe like 7 or 8 pints of Stella, and then I'll do some shots.
All I can say is I disagree with that sentiment. Beer before liquor. Beer with liquor, period. You're sick.
You see, I always like to start with beer so that yay.
233 days.
Although the last time I had an alcoholic drink was
I think
September?
It's been
September
5 months.
Was the last time I had an alcoholic drink.
Oh, wait, I've had wine. Is wine alcoholic or red wine? Oh, shoot. Never mind. It's been 3 weeks. That's all I've been drinking, though.
The next time I'll be having a drink will probably be when I go to Ascension in May. You know, oh no, the next time I'll be having a drink is the 28th of February because I'm going to see another comedian, and I always have to have a Coors Light in honor of Tyson.
Oh, I will say, like, some of the stuff I packed over here yesterday. I found a bottle of store brand NyQuil. And I was like, ooh, yay, NyQuil! I can take a shot of that to try and arrest this cough, but it's like 10% alcohol. Dumped it down the sink.
Good. I mean, it is really. I mean, I am so freaking proud of you, and the fact that you're not even taking medication or like mouthwash or anything like that has alcohol in it. It is very admirable. You know, and
saying I am taking this Mucinex. There's no alcohol, and it's supposed to severe congestion and a cough. Not so much.
But no, it is very admirable, and your dedication is very. It speaks a hell of a lot about your character, love.
To get to help with that cough, though, try some peppermint tea.
Yes, definitely peppermint tea, or a little drop of peppermint oil in lukewarm water, just like a tiny drop in like a glass. But this comment here, using your tablet, as long as it's got speakers on it and a microphone, you shouldn't need a headset. And even if you've got just regular earphones, that's got like the microphone connection, you can still join.
Yeah, Leftwich uses earbuds all the time for whenever he joins with DT.
And I don't even have a headset. I don't even have a headset because I use the microphone on my webcam, and then the sound comes out of my TV speakers. And I'll be the same when I get at my desk as well, because you know I don't need a headset.
Yeah, you just need a camera that doesn't keep on flipping you sideways and upside down.
Don't jinx it. It's behaved tonight. Don't jinx things. How dare you, sir?
That's because Dave has kept the cameras at a close as a close-up mirror.
You see, when I get back to my desk, it will be a different camera. because I've got my old webcam. The one that I had before this one, because I thought this one was going to be so much better. But no, when I get back at my desk, it'll be a lot better, because I won't be flipping upside down and zooming in and mirroring and all this lot, you know. So it will be a hell of a lot better. Although I'm sure that Marla and Cassie will miss back Katie.
Well, it looks like the weather forecast has changed. The snow might not start falling until after midnight tonight. So
That's a good deal.
yeah,
I think the snow stopped here. Let me have a look. Yeah,
Weather
I think
forecast across the world.
Stopped here. Oh god, yeah, it's no. Oh no, it's actually snowing.
yeah. But one thing
It
I
all
know,
across the Atlantic.
darn it.
Yeah, it's snowing. It's only like a fine flurry, and like the snow is nearly all gone now off the grass, but I don't know how it's going to go during the night. I'm just really hoping that my massage therapist can still get here on Wednesday.
Oh, you get it.
A masseuse.
A regular Phoebe buffet. House calls. That's nice.
Well, I used to go to the salon, but then she went self-employed. So now like she
just like
comes to me,
Phoebe.
which is a hell of a lot easier for me, because I don't have to go out or even cancel an appointment, because if my mobility is too bad for me to get out, I can still have my massage done. You know, and it is just so much better. And especially the way that we've rearranged everything in the flat as well. You know, because like what should be the living room is now the library with my desk in it. So everything is, yeah, it's all come together. So yeah, I'm just really hoping that she can get here on Wednesday, because I'm in desperate need of a massage.
What is the difference between a flat and an apartment? Or is there a difference?
Well, there really isn't. I mean, across here, what background noise? We don't have background noise.
See.
Testing.
But
well, any noise might be coming from my space heater.
No, Jeff was on about what about background noise if he doesn't have a headset.
Oh, that's
background. Yeah, that makes sense.
As long as it's not too loud, it should be okay. Because I mean, sometimes there's background noise for us as well.
Yeah, but like again, Leftwich, never an issue. He just plugs his earbuds into his phone, and bam, he's got a camera and speaker and microphone.
Well, he's also in the best soundproof area. It's really not the best soundproof, but he's in his car.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know, sometimes we're on a show, and I mean, not so much now because it's winter, but like in a summer when we're on the show, when it gets to round about this time, or like on Dangerous Thoughts when it gets to like in about like 45 minutes time, so it's like just after 3 a.m. You can hear all the birds waking up. In my background, and you know, all the bloody crickets and everything. So as long as it's not too bad and too distracting, that's absolutely fine. But no, to answer your question, Zach, across here, the difference between a flat and an apartment is usually the price.
Okay, that makes
interesting.
A flat is usually what I live in is classed as a flat, because it's more basic, it's small. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not tiny, but you know, it is small. Whereas an apartment across here is usually more high end and bigger.
Oh, so flat, like not flat, but flat as in basic amenities.
But yeah, basically, it's usually it is usually like cost and size. And you know, if and like the complex that you live in as well. I mean, I call this an apartment complex, and I say flat or apartment because it's all the same difference to me. It's just a different word. But it's all the same thing. Although I think a lot of actual, like, what's classed as apartments across here, they have, like, do you know, like the high-end ones? They tend to have, like, even though it's, like, all on one level, like a flat, there's usually, like, a little staircase going up to where you sleep. So it's kind of like an extra half-story kind of thing. It's weird. But no, so I've answered your question there.
So what would the quarters on the Enterprise, the initial one, what would that be labeled as? A flat or an apartment?
That'd be more like what's known as a bed sit across here, or like a studio. Although I find it really strange because across here, it's like flat or like high end, it's apartment, and yet you get a studio apartment. And I don't understand that because not a lot of people say studio flat. It's always studio apartment. And I'm just like, really?
I would just say bedroom or quarters. I got to go to my quarters.
I mean,
leave your bigotry in your quarters. That's what Kirk said in the Balance of Terror. So it's,
well, yeah, it's just what people say.
Sorry.
What the hell?
That was Boimler screaming. We got 5 minutes left because I got to get ready for my AA meeting here in a few minutes. So
gotta love Boims.
Yeah, so I was looking for something good, like a 5-minute warning, like a and say I was thinking of do red alert, but I was like, yeah, Boimler screaming. He's like, oh crap, we got 5 minutes left.
I like it. It's different.
You should have got the Boimler scream with "We're all gonna die."
Well, see, I have been able to. Well, if I can find it, I can probably pull it off. But so, any closing thoughts on A Night in Sickbay?
One of my favorite Enterprise episodes. Porthos
I have to agree. Oh yeah. That's what I was going to mention is like the times where Porthos was unconscious. Stuffed animal.
Yes, I know. Yeah. But no, I love this episode. It's a very big emotional roller coaster, and you go from floods of tears over Porthos to laughing at Archer with his T'Pol situation, and then like you feel the stress about this apology thing, and you feel the anger at the whole situation, and yeah, so it is just one big emotional roller coaster, but you also learn a lot in this episode as well. You learn more about Archer's bond with Porthos, and you learn a lot more about Phlox and the Denobulans in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very well-rounded episode. It was very well done, minus the CGI with the bat.
It wasn't bad, but you got to think, looking at it now from back then, so it wasn't.
I mean, at the time, it was probably okay, but no, that my closing thoughts. It was a very well done episode. It had a hell of a lot in it for what it was, but it didn't overpack it with information. It was all done very relaxed, very chilled, and Porthos didn't die.
That's
that
all
is the most important thing.
Zach, you got any closing thoughts?
I mean, if you like episodes with just dogs in general, this is the episode for you.
Yeah.
So one thing that I remember from the episode is it kind of made me prove with everything that goes on with Archer. Yes, there's some positives, especially with his relationship with Porthos. You have your funny moments, but it really did like overextend embellish my complete hatred for how terrible Archer was as a character. So,
I'm saying, and the I always want to call them Cretaceans.
hmm
Saying, but that
so
I read that like the opening scene when they're operating the planet, that's actually
hmm
Earth, and it's the
yeah.
lake below or the Great Lakes in reverse. I found that a
hmm
little interesting tidbit, but yeah, say Archer was able to put in his all with that ceremony, and they say, you know what, maybe we have been a little hard on you. Here's two extra injectors instead of just the one, so they got some
hmm
backups.
Well, yeah, it was worth it in
What?
that sense, but they shouldn't have had to jump through so many hoops.
Agreed.
The aliens, I can't remember their names.
Kreetassans.
Yeah,
I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna agree with Jeff down here, and I think we're just the reason we're always missing something in any episode that doesn't have Jeffrey Combs in it.
oh, I love Jeffrey Combs. I adore him. I love the episodes with
so-
him in it when he's what the hell's his name?
Dran?
Is it Tran?
Yeah.
Tran? Is it Tran or Duran?
Shran. SHRAN.
Shran.
Yeah,
never
I love
got
that
that right.
dude. I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved him in DS9, especially as the Vorta.
Honestly, as much as I loved Wayun,
that's the
he
name.
was awesome as Brunt.
Oh
'Cause
God, yeah,
was.
you've
had
got
to
to
work
love
He was.
him.
with those cheeses like Brunt FCA.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Brunt was so slappable. You know, I mean, more than that, I wanted to kick him in his lobes. You know, but he made that character, and
He did.
I mean, he makes every character. You know, he makes it his own, and yeah, it'd have been really good if it was in this episode as well. It'd probably been like even better of an episode for me.
Yeah, but we're at that 90-minute, well, not for the show, but it's like the bottom of the hour, so I gotta wrap it up. So next week we're gonna fly out to the Delta Quadrant and talk about Death Wish. The same, which is I think one of my favorite episodes of Q, because we kind of like what does someone from an omnipotent species do when they don't want to live anymore? So
hmm
Yeah.
assisted suicide, all that's a really deep dig, and I think that Voyager's
It's
swinging for the
actually
fences.
it's actually a very
Mhm.
apt episode for what's going on across here at the moment in government. So yeah, I'm very much looking, because I love Voyager, and I love Q. You know, I will never not love an episode with Q in, even the DS9 episode. But you
Yeah,
know,
because he that's the only episode he got punched in the face.
Yep.
yeah, I was a bit pissed off at Cisco with that, but you know,
I loved
you
it.
kind of deserve it.
That was great.
But no, I'm very much looking forward to the episode next week, because again, it's one of my favorite Trek episodes. So yeah, very much looking forward to it.
Okay, so I got to bounce. So until next week, peace out. Talk to you all next week.
Mwah.